Hello, friends. This is Becky with Becky Budgets. I decided this morning that I'm going to go ahead and film our February closeout. To be honest with you, because now that we're adding the Discover amount, I was a little worried about how much the debt was going to increase. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So let's go ahead and jump into February, into our monthly budget, just to see how we did overall. So my income for February came in for $4,412. My husband brought in $3,017. Bonus income, I went ahead and added the money that we got from our tax return. So the tax return plus the $500 from my dad brought us to $2,474. When we add those three figures together, that gives us a total of $9,903. And if we take the difference between that and what we budgeted, we were able to bring in $2,703 more than we had projected. Going down to our fixed expenses, rent came in for $2,445. Subscriptions came in for $112. Excel last month was $282. Sorry about that. I'm giving my dogs treats to try to keep them quiet. The last payment of the Apple phone was $57. T-Mobile is that set 100. Xfinity did go up to $172. Allstate actually came down $1, so it was $165. Nationwide was right on with $160. Postnet was $10. We didn't have any unbudgeted expenses, and I ended up lumping the Movie Pass with our subscriptions, which is why there's that $20 difference. So I'm going to go ahead and X that out as well. So let's go ahead and add these values together. And that gives us a total of, I think I'm off. Let me try this one more time. 2,445 plus 112. That looks more like it. So it gives us a total of $3,503. Moving over to our variable expenses, we did put $400 towards food, the $250 to gas, $100 to pets, my husband and me. Eating out was $75. Miscellaneous is $50. So let's go ahead and add that up. It should be equal to what we had projected. And yep, it is spot on, 1075. Moving over to our debt payments. For credit card payments, we ended up paying $676 towards credit cards because I did add in the minimum on the Discover. The Upstart loans came in right at $1,652. Advantage was $181. The Barclay was budgeted to get that 61, but we ended up paying it off. So it was $773 that went to my Barclay. And then my husband's Barclay ended up getting $665. When we add those values together, that gives us a total of $3,947. Moving over into savings, our Christmas fund ended up getting the $133 that was projected. My husband's 52-week, which is for moving, did get the $106. Our sinking funds got $100 a week, so that was $400. And then to account for the money that we put into savings for the IVF, I'm going to go ahead and add a line item. And we didn't have anything budgeted for that because we weren't putting any savings into that, but we did end up moving $736 into our IVF savings. Let's go ahead and add those together. And that gives us a total of $1,375. Going down to figure out how we did over the month, we had an inflow total of $9,903. And then to find out our total expenses, we add up all the numbers next to the pink. So we've got the 1,375 plus the 3,947 plus the 1,075 plus the 3,503. And that gives us a total of $9,900. That's easy math. That gives us an overage of $3. And those $3 are most likely what went into our buffer last month, so that keeps me pretty happy. Overall, we did really well. I'll be honest with you. Now, it was that special savings from, or the special money that we got from the tax return, which kind of helped us make a lot of these meet a lot of these goals. I don't know what we're going to do the next month. What I'm doing right now is jumping over to my favorite section here in the Budget Mom Workbook, which is our monthly closeout. As you see here, I did go ahead and add the Discover. Another thing that kind of came by that was expected, but for some reason not on my mind, was that our Best Buy Total Tech membership posted onto the Freedom for $200. So instead of this amount going down, it went up. I want to say about $170 because last month had kind of covered some of the payment. So that's definitely something that I'm going to look into saving or starting an envelope for, especially now that we upped to $5 for our savings. Other than that, everything else kind of came down. We had a total balance of $128,730.64 from the $69,000 that we have to pay, which is basically everything above the Advantage, which is my husband's student debt. We're at $57,409.42. We did end up paying $3,252.52 towards our credit cards, plus these extra payments, which were part of the snowball. So we had a total debt payment of this month of $3,796.52, which is astronomical compared to every other month. Usually we bring in about $2,000. So we were up by about $1,700. When we come down here to look at our monthly debt progress, I'll be honest with you, I thought that it was going to be more of a difference than it actually was when I added the $6,700 to it, almost $6,800. So last month we had $128,512. This month we ended up with $128,730. So we really only increased our overall debt by $217.69, which to me is a blessing. The total debt monthly progress this month moved us 0.16% into the negative direction instead of the positive direction. Now, taking a look at our debt progress overall, we did start off with almost $140,000 worth of debt because of that student loan. And currently, we've paid off about $11,239, which is awesome. That means that we have paid off 8.03% of our total debt within the last 11, I guess it's going to be 10 months since we started budgeting. Moving on to our net worth tracker. Our net worth tracker surprisingly still stayed in the positive. This is the second month that it has stayed in the positive. Our retirement plans did take a little bit of a hit. And obviously, putting extra money into the savings for the IVF and stuff like that helped as well. So overall, we only had a change amount of negative $2,068.28, which means the change in percentage was negative 23.2%. But I'm still happy that we're in the positive. I'm not going to lie. I'm picking little Leo up because I am treated out. I don't want to get them sick. So he's just going to sit on my lap. Moving over to our monthly budget breakdown. Here's where I see what bills have increased and where I'm budgeting some stuff. So let's go ahead and go over this. The values that are in red are the ones that I pay attention to. So Excel did end up going up $31.60 last month. We were expecting that because the natural gas prices have gone up here in Colorado. The subscriptions, that went up $30.01. So that is something I need to kind of pay attention to so that we can get that closer from the budgeted to the amount spent. It was a different month in February because we did have to pay for the Audible subscription. I'm on a bi-month or every other month plan, and that went in plus that movie pass. Credit cards, we ended up paying $893.88 more to that, which is not technically a bad thing. All it shows is that we did end up paying off some credit cards. Xfinity did officially go up in February. So this is going to be closer to the new value that I'm going to be budgeting. And it was a difference of $12.33. Going down to our snowball. Last month, we had planned on putting 100, or when I did my budget, let me rephrase that. We were expecting to put $112 because we were paying the old minimums on the two Barclay accounts. So we were planning on putting $112. We ended up putting $544 towards our snowball, which means that we had an overage of $432, which is always a good thing. Unfortunately, with the added debt, I wasn't able to calculate what we paid in interest. So hopefully moving forward, we'll be able to get those values. And then here's where I account for the money that went towards the IVF, which is $736.10, and that wasn't accounted for, so it is an overage. I'm doing this one-handed, so I do apologize. Let's see. Moving into our monthly debt and savings breakdown. Overall, this looks exactly how I want it to. I try to keep our debt at about 30% and our savings at about 10%. It did get a little higher, but it has a lot to do with the fact that we had that income tax return. So when I take a look at the debt payments that were paid, I always look at the higher percent categories to debt. So our upstarts usually take the highest amount, but staying on track, the two Barclays, which got paid off, came in third and fourth place, which is exactly where I want it to be. Moving over into where our savings went, everything was pretty much the same. Now, we did get those 736 that went to IVF, and that took about 53.6% of the total amount that we put in towards savings. Now, the last section in the closeout for the month in the Budget Mom Workbook is the monthly spending comparison. So what this one does is it takes the previous month and the month we're closing to see what the differences were. One thing I can say is that we did have a monthly inflow change. So we did get about $1,400 more in February than we did in January. Now, I'm not expecting that in the month of March because paychecks were a little lower, or my paycheck was a little lower. Taking a look at the red, rent was about $8.49 more expensive. Our rent is variable because on top of our regular rent and the garage that we pay for, we also have to pay for amenities. And so that can fluctuate from month to month. Excel was $21.97 higher than it was last month. Subscriptions were higher, which was understandable. And then our credit card payment was higher because we did make more payments towards the credit cards this month. Here's where the Xfinity went up $12.49. This, I knew that it was coming, so now I am budgeting that higher amount. And then Nationwide, they actually did renew Leo's policy, and the Nationwide went up $5.69. I was expecting it to be a little higher than that, I'll be honest, but I will take $5.69 any day. And then last but not least is our savings. So our normal is about $265 for the month. Last month, we added the tax return, which brought it up $709.60. I don't expect that to be an overage next month either. The other thing that kind of surprised me is that with more money, we didn't have more snowball. So last month in January, we paid $576 towards our snowball. In February, we paid $544, which means that we paid $32 less in February than we did in January. But that was just a little surprise. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our trackers. Before I do that, I just kind of wanted to answer a question that a lot of you have asked as to why my husband and I file our taxes separately. As you all know, we are happily married, so it has nothing to do with the status of our relationship. But my husband, his student loan is under what's called an income-driven repayment plan. And the reason they put him in that is because his school closed and is no longer accredited. And it closed less than a year after he graduated. He has been told by financial advisors that, or by our financial advisor, we were told that because he's been paying onto that income-driven repayment plan for the last 10 years, and we've only been married, I mean, not only, but we've been married for 6.5 wonderful years, that I don't have any student loan debt. And if we file jointly, our return will be higher, but the amount that he'll be paying into the income-driven repayment plan will also increase. That being said, we have been told to file separately until that whole account has been closed. He is 10 years into paying that, and we have another 10 years of him paying into that income-driven repayment plan for his student loan debt to be forgiven. So that is the reason why we do file separately. We do get a smaller return, but at the same time, it has to do with the status of his repayment. Going into our trackers, let me make sure that it's in frame. Our big mama, which is our Upstart loans, I'm excited because we don't have a lot more of these 940 higher debts. I see less and less on the sheet, which is always exciting, and it is starting to get more colorful. So we are on our way. This is the big mama. So it's just nice to see more color. I just wanted to go ahead and say, yay, we did go ahead and pay off the Dell principal. So this Dell principal started off at $3,058.54 last year in April, which was when we started this journey. We paid on the Dell, and I actually put a little cheat note back here, and we went ahead and put it into the Barclay. We transferred it to the Barclay with 0% in, what month was it? In July of 2022. So this was officially paid off on February 24th of 2023. So it will be added on to the list of accounts that we have paid off. Right here we have the Capital One. So the Capital One was also an account that we transferred in July for a 0%. This one started off with a balance of $1,192.77. And this one was also paid off on February 24th of 2023. This right here is the very first debt that we paid off when we started this journey. This was my husband's Best Buy. So this one was paid off on April 21st of 2022, which goes to show that the last account that we closed was in April of 2022. And then we were able to close another two at the end of February of 2023. So that was a long stretch. Now on this sheet is where I track our debt balance. So just taking a look at this, our debt amount did go up about $400 if you look between these two, almost exactly $400. Which just brought up our line a little bit. I'm hoping that it does not continue to get higher and that I was hoping for that line that would kind of go down diagonally, but that's okay. It's just a little hiccup. On here, I'm also tracking our retirement just to see exactly what's going on with the retirement. Our retirement did come down about $2,000 in the month of February, which is normal. There's ebbs and flows in the stock market all the time. Well, friends, that is the end of our February closeout. Overall, it wasn't the progress that I originally wanted, but it was time to take a look at those medical bills. And luckily, those medical bills didn't increase our debt by as much as I thought. I thought that our line was going to go up $6,000, and it only ended up going up $400, which is beyond exciting for me. In the month of March, I think that we are going to be struggling a little bit just because we're not going to be getting the tax return that we got in February, and it is one of those bill heavy months with less income. But we are on this journey and we take things as they come. Thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day to watch my content. I hope each and every one of you is having an amazing day and an amazing week. I'll see you soon. Bye, friends.